Welcome back to another video brought to you by your one and only literary pharaoh. I wanted to share a message with you guys about the dynamic of how much money plays into the psyche of females and how much they will tolerate or how much they will not tolerate. Recently, we went to a 4th of July get-together or gathering or party, if you want to call it. Our next-door neighbor invited us. He has a pool in his backyard. Nice setup. He spent nearly almost $100,000 on the setup alone. I mean, it's amazing. And he invited us there, me and my wife, and we went there and had a good time. They had good food. Of course, I don't eat meat, so I didn't eat the food that they had there. And I'm very particular about what I eat. I just had water and I was fine. My wife, she ate a little bit. She had a couple of drinks as well. So while we were there, the host of the event, the owner of the home, he was joking with me. He said something to me to the effect of, "Oh, the strippers are going to be coming at 6 p.m." Now, the party started at 3. We got there a little bit after 3. I think we got there around 3:20, 3:25, around that time. And while we were there, the host of the party comes to my wife and I, just making small talk and being very jovial. He was like, "Oh yeah, the strippers are coming." Now, of course, he said that in front of me to see my response because he knows my wife is right there. And when he said this, I was like, "Oh no, man, I'm gonna be out of here before they get here." And then my wife started laughing. So my wife was like, "Is he for real?" But with the next door neighbor, I know how he is. A lot of things he says jokingly. But when he said that about the strippers, his wife was right there. And I gave her a look like, damn, he's inviting strippers for a 4th of July little gathering. Is it that serious? I mean, this is not some type of bachelor party. I mean, traditionally, that's what guys do. They have a bachelor party. They either go to a strip club or invite a stripper. I've never been into strippers. I've never been into strip clubs. Anyone that knows me, even when I was younger, when I used to go club hopping, so to speak, I would have friends who would want to go to the strip club. I would never go. Strip clubs never really did anything for me. I've never been in there, but the idea of just watching a woman swing on a pole and shake her ass half naked doesn't really, I don't know. I like to have fun and dance. Me just gawking, staring at a woman and lusting and having fantasies of what I don't know. I don't know. That's never excited me. And guys would look at me like, "We're like, you don't want to go to a strip club?" I'm like, "No, not really. I don't care for strip clubs." So when the host of the party said strip club, I was like, "What?" So I looked at his wife to see her reactions. What woman would allow a husband to bring in strippers to the house? So the wife looks at us and she's like, "Hey, I don't care. He could call the strippers. They could come. It doesn't bother me." And I gave my wife a look like, I know if I was hosting a party and I invited strippers to come to the house, that shit's not flying with my wife. Now, I had a conversation with my wife after that. My wife looked at me. She was like, "Man, she seems like she's cool with it." And I looked at my wife. I said, I think the guy's joking. I think I don't want to say his name, but let's say his name is Brian. So I said, "I think Brian is joking." I think Brian is joking. She was like, "I don't know if he's joking. He sounds like he's for real." I said, "Nah, man, he's not. He's just messing around with me because he knows how I am. He's probably trying to see my reaction, knowing that my wife is right next to me. So he's being silly." So me and my wife start making small talk. My wife is like, "It seems like it." My wife was like, "It seems like Brian's wife is okay with it." I looked at my wife. I said, "Yeah, she's okay with it because he funds everything. This guy makes a lot of money." How do I know this? I'm his neighbor. I mean, the guy, you can tell the stuff he buys, the 2 BMWs that he recently just purchased, spending almost $100,000 on a backyard setup with his pool. The guy has guy toys. When I say guy toys, he has cars, he's bike, he has a Harley Davidson. I mean, the guy has money. He doesn't have any children. He doesn't have any little children that he's looking after. It's just him and his wife. And I told her, I said, yeah, when he's making that much money, she's gonna be okay with it because she doesn't pay any bills, she doesn't work, she doesn't do anything. I don't even hardly see her outside. Like when I'm outside, like running or doing my workouts in my driveway, or whether I'm sun gazing in my driveway, I don't see her. He even mentioned it to me one day. He says, man, look, you're dedicated, man. We were having small talk one day. He told me I'm dedicated because he sees me out there working out a lot. Sometimes I get up at like 4 in the morning, and me and my wife, we go run into the gym, we work out, and we run right back. And so he admires the discipline that I have in that regard. And so he was having a conversation with me, and he was like, I wish I wish my wife would come out and do things with me too. She doesn't even want to go ride the bike with me. So I'm saying all that to say this, that the woman doesn't do anything. So she's going to be willing to tolerate her husband bringing in strippers because she understands that she doesn't have any leverage. Like, she can't give pushback because he's doing everything. He pays all the bills. He makes all the money. The car that she has, he bought it for her. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what a man's supposed to do. Traditionally, we look at men as to be the providers, and he's doing just that. And I think when a man is in that particular status, a woman is able to kind of acquiesce to some of the things that the man desires, right? In my case, my wife won't desire that. Why? Because I don't make that much money, number one. Number two, me and my wife both work. So women are going to look at you differently as a man if she has to work. That's what this boils down to. If you make, this is what the point I'm trying to make with this video is that men, you can literally get away with a killing. I'm not saying that you can cheat on your wife or anything like that. I'm not going that far. I'm not saying that. A lot of women, some women are okay with that. They understand that, hey, my man makes a lot of money. It's okay if he goes out and sleeps around. As long as I don't know, whatever he does, make sure he keeps it out there and he doesn't bring it to the house. Some women are okay with that. Some women are not okay with that. They're like, I don't give a damn how much money my man makes. Even if I'm a stay-at-home wife, I do not want to share my man with other women. Some women hold that perspective, and that's okay too. But the point that I'm making with this video is that if you are a man and your wife works, you don't have any leverage, because the psyche of women, in my 40-something years of experience, my 40 years of living, is that they don't respect men who don't make money. Now, if she has to work and you have to work and both your incomes are used for the home, she has an understanding that she has to work. I'm not saying that she's going to disrespect you, but she's not going to hold you at a high regard to the point where if you wanted to invite strippers to the house and she knows it, she'll be okay with it. Most women won't be okay with it if they have to work. There are certain things that women will let go of if they know where their income or where their financial security is coming from. So I'll give you an example. It's sort of like a consolation prize. The woman understands, okay, my man's gonna be a man. What man am I gonna find out there that's gonna be, I guess, relatively attractive, have a lot of money where he can take care of me, where I don't have to lift a finger and work, I don't have to clean? Because Brian's wife, my next door neighbor, she doesn't clean. He has cleaners. He has cleaning service comes to his house. So one day I was looking at my wife, I'm like, what does she do? They don't have any children. It's just him and her in a 5-bedroom. I think it's a 5-bedroom, 4.5 bath house, I believe. I clean. Me and my wife, we both clean our house with our 3 kids, because it costs money to call people to come clean your house. So I'm big on, why am I going to pay somebody for something that I can do for myself? And cleaning to me is sometimes it's therapeutic. When I come into a space that's cluttered and I can clear it out, it's therapeutic to me to know that it was my hands and my energy that was put forth in clearing out that space. It sort of grants to me a self-gratification that I would not have gotten if I paid somebody to do it for me. If I paid somebody to do it for me, it's just me just throwing money to somebody to do it for me. So there's a sense of satisfaction and gratification that comes with you getting your hands dirty and cleaning up stuff. So what I'm saying here is that if a woman knows that a man is a breadwinner, when I say breadwinner, I don't mean like he makes more than me. No, he makes all the money. Like me, between my wife and I make more than my wife, but alone I can't do the mortgage, the daycare costs, the bills, the food, the light bill. I can't take care of all that by myself. So my wife's income supplements my income, and together we combine it, and it works out better for us that way. Okay, and the point I'm making, when a woman feels like she has to go to work, and I've never wanted women to work. I told my wife, I said, if I was making a lot of money, you wouldn't go to work. I would desire her not to go to work. But the way our economy is and the way the current society is structured, gone are the days where a single income could hold a household. It's not happening. All right? I'm not rich. I don't have the fortune of leaning toward that luxury of having to be the only sole provider of the home and have my wife sit at home and not do shit. She has to work. So if a woman works, she's not going to allow you as the man to do certain things that you want to do. That's for the guys that like that stripping shit. I don't care for that, okay? She's not going to allow you to have your guys' night out. Because when you say guys' night out, I mean, what do guys do when they go out? They go out, they probably drink, they probably get flirtatious. Women aren't stupid. When guys go out, there's certain things that guys do. I'm not saying that every guy that goes out is going to go out and sleep around with females. It could happen. But there's certain things that a woman would turn a blind eye to, when she understands the financial security she has with a man that provides everything for her. That's the extreme. The middle ground is if she knows that she has to work and you work, you're not doing that shit. It's intrinsically in them to have a certain level of disdain toward a man that they're with when they have to work. It just is what it is. Women your respect value goes up more with more money, the more money you have. And it is what it is. Now, there's some women out there, those are the outliers. I'm talking about generally speaking. When a woman is dating a man, the first thing that the parents want to know is that how much money he make, what kind of job he got, what he putting, what's his gross, what's his net worth. They want to know stuff like that. It's important to them. And as men, it's important to us. That's why in that men's group that I'm with, it makes the men in that group, they feel really bad because they feel as if because they don't make a certain amount of income that they're worthless. And I was telling them, no, like your worth is based upon what how your family perceives you. How does your family look at you? That's the most important thing in your current state. So sometimes we kind of have to contextualize our perspectives and have it work for our advantage to compel us and motivate us into a lane that keeps us moving forward. Because if we move off that track and get into the worldly way of thinking, then we start to think that, I have to have this amount of money and be able to have this to be a valued man. No. Now, the opposite extreme of a man that provides for the woman is a man that doesn't work at all. Could you imagine if listen to this, listen. Could you imagine if my next door neighbor didn't have a job and that whole party was funded by the wife? Let's say the wife was the breadwinner, which is disgusting. I wouldn't even be able to live with the woman who's providing for me. I would just say, just leave me. Because I don't even, just leave. Call it ego, call it whatever you want. I cannot have a woman take care of me. It's just not going to happen. But let's say, hypothetically speaking, for this conversation that we're having here, let's say my next door neighbor Brian, it's not his real name, it's giving a fake name because I don't want to put his public business out there. Let's say Brian didn't have a job and the breadwinner was his wife. Let's say his wife's name is Rita, Brian and Rita. And Rita makes all the money. And Rita threw the party. She funded the food. She's the one that put together that immaculate pool that she built back there in their home. It's her house that he's living in. Follow me here. She paid for the DJ. She paid for the food. She paid for the alcohol. She set up everything. Imagine if me and my wife go back there and Brian comes out of nowhere, the husband who has no job and no money, and says, "Oh, strippers are coming." He wouldn't have the gumption. He wouldn't have the gall or the nerve to utter that. The wife would probably slap the shit out of him for considering that. The man, because he doesn't make any money, will be docile. He wouldn't have the nerve to say anything like that. And the woman, because she's the breadwinner, would not accept that. because you're disrespecting me after all I do for you. You see what I'm saying? Now you see how money plays into the psyche of the human perspective. Human psychology is pretty simple, folks. If you're putting in work, you think that there should be a return on your investment. If a woman is doing all the work in terms of the finances, how fucking dare you invite strippers to my home? Not our home, my home. And I'm the woman that's paying for everything. No way Brian would say that. But Brian had the nerve, even though he was joking. We say he was joking because strippers never came. And even when it was past 6 o'clock, he came back again and said the same thing. By that time, he was already inebriated and drunk. And then we knew for sure he was joking. But the fact that his wife told me and my wife that, I don't care if you bring strippers, that's him. They can bring the strippers. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother her because she respects him. Ladies, I'm not saying that respecting a man that brings strippers to the house is what respect is. I just mean that in their relational dynamic, she trusts him, number one, enough to say, I don't mind that. She's not insecure. I'm here. She actually said that. She's like, I'm not going nowhere. She can bring all the strippers he wants. I'm right here. So she's secure within herself and secure within her relationship dynamic that she's okay with strippers coming to the house, even though Brian was joking. But if she made the money, if she was a breadwinner, she wouldn't be okay with it. And if I'm wrong, guys, leave a comment. Tell me if I'm off here. Think about it for a second. Number one, Brian would be an idiot to even suggest that if none of his money contributed to that party, none of his money contributed to that household, none of his money pays for anything. He has a sugar mommy. That sugar mommy would not respect him. As a matter of fact, I think the roles may be switched. She would be the one saying, I'm bringing in male strippers. And he'll sit there docile with his tail stuck between his legs and not say shit. He won't say anything. That's the power of money, folks. It changes the mind. It changes the perspective. It changes attitudes. It even corrupts character in a way. Because you end up compromising certain things that you wouldn't, put yourself in a compromising situation for if money wasn't involved. When money is involved, it taints everything. All right? So I knew for a fact that if I was a breadwinner for my house, if I was making that much money, my wife didn't have to lift a finger, she would look at me a certain way. She would look at me different. I'm not saying my wife respects me now because I work. There's certain qualities she likes about me. I'm disciplined. I'm hardworking. I'm a loving man. I love my kids. I love her. I don't disrespect her. We don't disrespect each other. We don't argue. I mean, there's a lot of great qualities that she sees in me that she respects. But could you imagine if I was making much more money where she never had to work? She would worship me. I'll be a god to her. And rightfully so, I should be. But then I would have expectations as well. When I come home, there better be a cooked meal and the house better be freaking clean. Because I love cleanliness. I do not like a dirty ass house. A house to me is my safe haven. Like, I don't like going on vacations. I'm a homebody. I don't seek anything outside my home. My home has everything that I need. The last thing that I want is for my house to be dirty. I hate dirt. So that I'll have certain expectations and she'll meet them. Why? Because I'm a breadwinner. She never has to lift a finger. While her friends are out there working, stressed out, driving in traffic, she's at home just chilling, shopping. Her work is shopping. So I'm telling you guys, women are not going to respect you if you don't make money. And if a woman has to work, the respect value goes a little down. I'm not going to say she'll disrespect you, but she's going to look at you like you're on her level. The day you can work, or the day you can work to the point where your wife doesn't have to work, you'll see the difference how they treat you. Because what I experienced with my next door neighbor was very telling. I told my wife, you think that she'll accept that shit if she was working, if she was making, she wouldn't even allow a stripper to walk to the door. She would start fighting that stripper and tell him to get the hell out of my house. But because he funds everything, she doesn't lift a finger. She's able to concede to certain things that she normally wouldn't concede to if the scenarios were different. All right? Leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think. Am I onto something here, or am I just totally off? All right. Peace, guys. Till next time. Bye. Take care of yourself, and remember, your health is your wealth.